Aloha, Hawaii. My name is PJ, and this is your weekly sports update on ThinkTech Hawaii. The University of Hawaii men's baseball team returned back to the friendly confines of Les Murakami Stadium after winning 6 games in a row on a 2-week road trip to California. The Bows returned home to face longtime rival Cal State Fullerton in the final 3-game series at home for the Rainbow Warriors this season. First game saw the Warriors run up against Cal State Fullerton junior Thomas Eshelman, a projected first-round draft pick in this up-and-coming baseball junior June draft. The junior did not disappoint, tossing a complete game 5-hit shutout against the Rainbows. The second game, the Rainbows' own junior prospect, Tyler Brashears, the first UH pitcher to have a chance to win 9 games since 2007, once again pitched brilliantly for the Warriors, tossing 6 innings and giving up 5 hits and only 2 earned runs. But the Rainbow Warrior bats could only produce 2 runs that night and once again fall to Cal State Fullerton 4-2, with Andrew Jones taking the loss for the Warriors. Senior center fielder Kaeo Aliviado smashed a pitch deep to right center field in the 6th inning for his team-leading 5th home run of the year. And on senior night, local boy Jared Awakawa went 6 strong innings, but the Bows ended up dropping the 3rd game of the series 5-2. Awakawa, making his 49th start, put him in the record books right alongside Rainbow legend Derek Tatsuno, tying him for 9th on the all-time list. After the game, the 8 seniors, Aliviado, Awakawa, Eric Gleese, Andrew Jones, Julian Jones, Steve Polikoff, Jordan Richards, and Stephen Ventimiglia were recognized for their career efforts and adorned with hundreds of leis, while 5 of the group were confirmed their degrees by Vice Chancellor Ron Canberra. Of course, nobody does senior night quite like the University of Hawaii. So once again, congratulations to our 8 seniors on the UH baseball team and their endeavors in life. World #1 golfer Rory McIlroy dominated the competition at the Wells Fargo Championship this weekend, shooting a 61 in the 3rd round and 11 under course record Saturday, and to go on and shoot a 21 under par for the tournament and win by 7 strokes, pulling away from the field to retain his #1 world golf ranking. Couple that with his latest World Match Play Championship, and Rory's game seems to be getting into shape as the U.S. Open Championships approach later this summer. The victory also marked Rory's 11th victory on the PGA Tour. Rory McIlroy became a full PGA Tour member in 2010. The NBA playoffs are down to the final 4 teams. In the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers closed out the Chicago Bulls 4-2, taking out the Bulls on their home court in 6 games after being down 2-1. LeBron James' big 3-point basket to end Game 4 seemed to turn the whole series around, as the Chicago Bulls never really gained any momentum back after that devastating hoop. Speaking of devastating, the Atlanta Hawks also closed out the Washington Wizards on Washington Wizards' home court in Game 6 as the Truth, Paul Pierce, got a last-second 3-point basket called off because he did not get the shot off in time, as the ball was on his fingertips when the game clock expired, and Atlanta went on to beat Washington 94-91 to take that series in 6 games also, moving ahead to face the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Meanwhile, in the Wild Wild West, the Golden State Warriors closed out a tough Memphis Grizzlies team in 6 games, also on Memphis home court, as Golden State proved steady on offense and defense to close out a tough Memphis team. Regular season MVP Steve Curry picked his game up over the last 3 games after Golden State found themselves down 2-1 to come back and win 3 straight games and close out the Grizzlies in 6. Meanwhile, the Rockets and the Clippers, the only semifinal game to go 7 games, proved to be tough for the Clippers, and the history of the Clippers continues to haunt them as the Clippers were up 3-1 and ended up losing the last 3 games, and the Houston Rockets went on to advance to the Western Conference Finals to face Golden State as they closed out the Clippers 4-3 on their home court. So it will be Golden State Warriors against the Houston Rockets in the Western Conference Finals. My name is PJ. Thank you for joining Weekly Sports Update on ThinkTech Hawaii. I will see you next week. We're going to go to a commercial, When we come back, stay tuned. I will be here with Justin Baptiz to further break down the NBA playoffs, part 5, with the final 4 teams remaining on the other side of Hawaii Sports Update.
Hi, aloha. My name is Chris Leatham, and I host a show called The Economy and You. The show plays every Wednesday at noon, and on my show, I bring on guests who are interested or working in the technology space. And so I'd like you to come and watch the show and learn with me about all the sort of exciting things that we're doing in Hawaii to build and grow our economy ecosystem. So I'd like to say aloha, and I look forward to seeing you on the show. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I host Likeable Science on ThinkTech Hawaii, and I do this because I care about science literacy in Hawaii. I want to spread the understanding that science is a vital and interesting part of everyone's life. I want to make sure the broadest possible spectrum of people understand the beauty and the value of science and realize that science plays out each and every day of their lives. I want you to understand that science is fun. So we bring onto this show each week guests who are scientists, from astronomers to zoologists, and we talk about what they do and how they do it. But most importantly, we talk about why you should care about their work, why you should see that their work has value and impact on your life. So I hope you'll join us Fridays, 1 p.m. here on ThinkTech Hawaii. You can watch us via live stream. You can watch us recorded on Olelo, and you can see us each week. We hope you'll join us.
Aloha, my name is Miley Scarpino, and I'm the host of the Empower Hour. If you're interested in health, nutrition, fitness, here on the island of Oahu, want to learn more about places to train at or different trainers available, then watch my show on Fridays at 3. We have a great time, and I hope that you'll come join us. Much aloha. Now go get swole.
To Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy on Wednesday, and we have Sharon Moriwaki, my co-host and co-chair of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, and we have Warren Bollmeyer today, a special guest with the Hawaii Renewable Energy Alliance, and also a member of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum.
In fact, he's our Renewable Energy Working Group Chair, so
he
takes care of all of our...
You ought to see him in song and dance, too. He does the musical part of the show. Sharon is more serious than that, but not much more serious. So anyway, what do you think of this show? I mean, is this good?
I think this is good. We hope it's good. We hope it attracts a lot more people than our forum, so that people can see what's going on in energy and clean energy, and call in, write in, tweet,
Yeah, we
or
want
Twitter.
that. We want public engagement, civic engagement from everybody, because that's the only way we're going to get down the road on this, right, Warren?
Yeah, I think so, and it's an opportunity for guys like me to share a little bit of their mana'o and sometimes get the facts right. Who was that guy that said, just give me the facts, you know, start with the facts and then work from there? Oh, it was Dragnet guy, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Jack
That was when I was
That
just
man.
I was just in grade
all
school then. I
remember
barely
that? I was
remember
like,
that.
yeah.
Just the facts,
Just the
man.
man.
Here on Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, every Wednesday from 4 to 5. You'll see. Come back soon. Right, Sharon?
Great.
Warren?
Yes.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island. I work in the ER there. But on Tuesday afternoons, I get to come and spend 45 minutes to an hour with Jay Fidel and the ThinkTech staff. They're terrific professionals. They help us to bring some of the leading cutting-edge topics here across our state to you. So you can join us at our show on healthcare in Hawaii to talk with leaders from across all the spectrum of health in our state, or you can join us for any other show where we talk about economic development or tourism or some really eclectic programs too. So really, we love to see you here on our show. Thanks for joining us and thanks for supporting us.
Aloha and welcome back to Hawaii Sports Update. I am your host, PJ, and I am here with Justin Baptiz. If you haven't guessed already, this is our 5th week now, breaking down the NBA playoffs. And if you want to tweet us live during the show, go ahead and tweet at ThinkTechHI. Go ahead and chime in and ask us any questions going on about the NBA playoffs. We'll be more than happy to respond to your questions. That's live on Twitter at ThinkTech HI. Now, Justin, 4 teams left, man. Golden State, Houston, Cleveland, and Atlanta. Golden State is actually a 10-point favorite in tonight's game, which is, I mean, that's a sort of amazing to be a double-digit favorite like that. But the way Golden State's been playing all year, you know, the guys in Vegas, I guess, want to throw something out there. But SI.com has the Final Four rankings, you know, broken down, you know, for the Final Four teams. And they have it Golden State, Cleveland, Houston, and Atlanta. What do you have to say about that ranking order? What do you have to say about Golden State being a 10-point favorite? And what are some of the keys in this Atlanta and Cleveland series?
Well, about Golden State, you know, they're a really tough team. You know, I believe that game is going to probably be a Game 7. I think the Warriors have an upscale. As far as Cleveland and Atlanta is concerned, those are both 2 teams that have played well throughout the season, and that's going to be a tough series, too. I believe that game is going to be 7. So I believe both of the playoff games are going to go 7 games.
Okay, well, you know, you have 4 teams in there now, Atlanta, Cleveland, Golden State, and Houston. The last team to win a championship out of those 4 was Houston, of course, during the Olajuwon days. But this is Atlanta's first conference final since 1970. They actually had a 3-1 edge over Cleveland during the season. And, of course, Cleveland, they've never been to the I mean, they've been to the finals with LeBron, but, you know, this is it. Not the traditional teams vying for this year's NBA playoffs. Exactly. You think that's good for the game? You think that's bad for the game? And can we take anything into Atlanta beating Cleveland 3-1 during the series, or is it different because it's playoff?
Well, it's different. I mean, a lot of people say that when it's playoff time, it's different, and I believe the series will be a different scenario because it's best out of 7, and you know, it's going to be a tough series. It's going to be a very tough series, and I think that when you have those 2 teams like that, Atlanta and you have Cleveland, both teams are considered to be you know, a 3-point shooting team.
Well, you know, during the season, I was able to catch a couple of the games Atlanta during Cleveland, and it seemed to me that Atlanta, against Cleveland, they pretty much played a zone defense, okay? And they sagged off, and what that did was turn LeBron into more of a facilitator than looking to score the ball, because if they're in a zone, you know, LeBron is good all around, but his biggest weakness is his jump shot. You know, I'd rather have him shooting jump shots than going to the basket, facilitating to the other players who are spotting up and stuff like that. So maybe Atlanta sort of has the formula of this zone defense that allowed them to take 3 out of 4 games against Cleveland. What do you think about Atlanta's zone defense that they play, and you know, how is LeBron going to be able to counteract that during this series?
Well, LeBron's going to have to basically take over the game, and he's going to have to be selfish, as you mentioned before, because if he plays selfish ball, they'll have a better chance at winning. I think LeBron has to be able to penetrate off of you know, Atlanta and be able to make guys available to make shots. He has to He has to get a lot of assists. He has to make sure he doesn't turn over the ball, and he has to play a perfect game, because if he doesn't play a perfect game, and he's going to have to, you know, ease up or come up for it, it's going to be tough.
Okay. Now, you know, Atlanta, they're a really versatile team. They have 6 guys scoring in double figures. 4 of their guys made the All-Stars. The one who didn't, Damari Carroll, he's been their best player throughout the playoffs. But the interesting matchup that I'm looking at is Millsap, I guess, is going to be on LeBron. LeBron's going to be on Millsap. I mean, Millsap is definitely a player that you know, you're going to have to look out for on the offensive end. He's probably their second most viable scorer besides either Horford or Teague. But that's going to be an interesting matchup, Millsap and LeBron James, and also the backup guards, Deladova and Schroeder. What do you say about some of these people coming off the bench? Mozgov is really their only big defensive stopper, and Horford actually outscored Washington's big men by himself in the last series, 101 to 100. So that's going to be an interesting matchup for Cleveland. Millsap, Horford, and if Korver gets hot, he's only been 12 out of 42 from three-point land. It's just going to be interesting matchups. J.R. Smith is going to have to improve offensively like he did last series. Tristan Thompson's going to have to do some stuff. Shumpert. I mean, all these matchups. What do you think is the most intriguing matchup? And how are each team going to counteract each other's strengths?
Well, when you have a team like Atlanta, Atlanta's a very, very tough team. In the regular season, we all know they can shoot from the three-point range and be effective in that way. The way Atlanta has been able to be effective is because they've been able to use their players, know how to use their players to be able to, how can I say it, get guys open, get guys in positions to score. The big man for Atlanta has really kept this team dominant, and he hasn't really missed a lot of shots, which has helped their team out. So he's been very effective, and I think if they can utilize Horford and continue to be able to use him in a way that they've been using him, I think Atlanta has a pretty good shot at winning this series.
Okay, now Kyrie Irving, we know he's a little bit banged up. He was ineffective pretty much 3 games in a row against Chicago. He has knee and foot issues.
Right.
Kevin Love is out. Shumpert's a little bit, not 100%. Now, how much of this burden do you feel that LeBron James can handle? I mean, because he's pretty much carrying this whole team on his back right now, especially with Irving, with Irving's ineffectiveness last series. But the other guys seem to rally around him, and do you think that LeBron is going to be able to carry Cleveland, through 2 more series to get to the ultimate goal?
Well, let me just go ahead and break it down for you real quick.
All right, do that.
Basically, with the fact that Kyrie Irving has been hurt, it has made this team a little bit tough because Kyrie Irving is one of their key guys. And
well, he's one of the key guys in the whole league.
Right,
He's definitely an all-star.
He's the key guys on that Cleveland team.
Right.
So with the fact that he's been nicked up and banged up a bit, LeBron has carried this team, and like he carried this team with Miami Heat on his back with Dwayne and Chris Bosh, he has to continue to carry this team, and basically he has to, like I mentioned before, he has to get players open, he has to make assists, he has to have a turn, he has to not have a turnover game, he has to be able to score, and he has to be able to get those fouls that James Harden can do pretty well. So if he can continue to play good basketball like he did against Chicago, that's going to really benefit not only himself, but also for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay, well, I agree with you to a certain extent, but to me, I think what's being overlooked a lot is LeBron against Chicago, he really didn't have to play defense. Jimmy Butler guarded him, but on the defensive end, he was guarding, people who away from the ball, like right. Noah or whoever. But in this series, he's going to definitely have to guard somebody who's a viable offensive weapon, whether it's Horford or Korver or Millsap, But either one of those 3 guys is capable of putting the ball in the hoop from all over the court. And so, for LeBron to have to carry that whole weight offensively, that's considering if Kyrie Irving isn't 100%. But if he has to carry that whole offensive load also and have to step it up on defense, I just think that might be a little bit too much on his plate. to you know, to get the job done. I'm not doubting LeBron at all. You know, I mean, he's very viable and capable. But I'm just wondering which one of these guys, Dellavedova, Shumpert, Thompson, J.R. Smith, Mozgov, which one of these guys is going to be the one to step up each game along with LeBron to get the job done? Because that's all he needs is really one of them to come along with him. You know, if Kyrie Irving can play consistent and just be a threat on the court, I think one of these other guys will be able to elevate their game also.
Most definitely.
So, you know, it's just going to be interesting to see how much of a burden LeBron can really handle carrying the whole weight right now for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But, you know, it's definitely going to be interesting. You know, and as far as the coach matchups, you have Dave Blatt, you know, Cleveland. This is his first year. Okay, and then you have Mike Budenholzer. I mean, these are basically rookie coaches in this type of situation, and we've seen a couple of mistakes made in the past series in Cleveland and Chicago by Blatt, but Budenholzer's been pretty solid with his decisions. But it's interesting that we have two fairly green coaches also coaching in a big situation for the first time. I mean, that's important, right?
Right, very much important.
Okay, so, you know, this is it, man. You know, Cleveland, LeBron is back home, and this is what he went back home to do. He is going for his fifth straight finals championship period, 5 in a row. If Cleveland happens to get there, this will be his 5th in a row. And it's just going to be real interesting to see exactly how LeBron holds up against an Atlanta team. We're going to take a break right now. And when we come back, on the other side of the commercial, we're going to be breaking down the Western Conference. And then we'll be discussing who we think is going to win the NBA championship and further break down the Final 4 teams on the NBA playoffs on the other side of Hawaii Sports Update.
Aloha, welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii. My name is Josh Green. I'm the host of a program called Healthcare in Hawaii. I'm a physician. I work in the emergency department on the Big Island. I also serve in the state senate, which, please don't hold that against me, doesn't detract from my television program. We speak about all the big healthcare issues in the state. We get together on Tuesdays from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we try to talk about the most important issues in healthcare. This is a terrific venue for people to learn about healthcare. There are many programs on this station. We broadcast it later, not just on the internet, but also on OC16. Thanks for joining us. Please be informed healthcare consumers.
Welcome back to Hawaii Sports Update. I am your host, PJ, and we are here breaking down the 2015 NBA playoffs with Mr. Justin Baptiz. If you want to chime in or you want to tweet us live during the show, go ahead and tweet ThinkTech HI, and you can chime in, ask us any questions about the matchups, about any of the conversation that we're having here, and we are more than happy to have you chime in and tweet us here on Hawaii Sports Update. Now, Justin, in the East, who go ahead and pick your team. Who you got? You have Atlanta or you have Cleveland?
Ooh.
And you're going to have to tell me why, too.
Well, like I said, I feel the Atlanta and Cleveland series will be a Game 7. I also believe that the winner will be Atlanta.
Okay.
Over Cleveland.
Okay.
Because I feel that Atlanta is a more healthier and more dominant and more not only compelling, but they just know how to play better basketball.
Okay, well, we're going to, after we finish the Western Conference here, we're going to come back and get specific on a few of these matchups here. But moving ahead to the West, of course, Golden State and Houston. Now, Golden State, they swept Houston 4-0 during the season. Of course, we know that Dwight Howard was not involved in 2 of those games.
Right.
Okay, and, you know, everybody always talks about Golden State's offense, but they're one of the top defensive teams in the league also. And I say that to say this, that during the 4 games that Houston played Golden State, they held James Harden to 41% from the field, 24% from three-point country. Now, if they can hold James Harden to that, they're going to sweep them. I mean, I hate to say it, but they are. Dwight Howard is going to have to step up huge, okay? Corey Brewer is going to have to step up. And they have sort of like a secret weapon in Patrick Beverly. He's a little bit banged up right now, but he's a specialist that they're going to sick on Steph Curry. My question to you is, what's it going to take for Houston to even compete in this series against Golden State?
Patrick Beverly, much wishes to him being out for the season. And hopefully he'll have a better season next year when he comes back from injury.
Well, they're talking about him possibly coming back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're talking about him possibly coming back.
Well, I didn't hear about this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
So, you know, we'll see. I mean, it's not 100%, but there's definitely been some talk about it.
Okay.
So we'll see what's going on.
But getting back
with
to your question about the Houston and Golden State series, I'm predicting Golden State in 7.
In 7?
In 7.
Okay.
In 7. And like you mentioned, Dwight Howard has to be the key factor in the series because, yeah, he's going to have to be the guy that's going to have to step up. But James Harden has to continue to play ball and, you know, get players into foul trouble and continue to make players miss off the dribbles and off the jabs here and there and score. But, you know, like I mentioned before, Golden State's going to win this series, and they're going to win this series because it's going to be how well of a team Golden State plays. What I mean by that is Golden State has to continue to play good basketball, basically by making 3 points and getting their key guys into double figures, and also not turn over the ball. And I feel if they do that, Golden State has a huge chance.
Okay, now, but both of these teams are sort of like run and gun. You know, like I say, Golden State gets misconstrued a lot because how many points they score, that their defense is not that good. But on the other hand, Houston's defense is the middle of the road to bottom of the pack.
Right.
The only thing Houston really has going for them is that they're the 9th team to come back from a 3-1 deficit.
Right.
In 228 series, they're only the 9th team to come back from 3-1. So, you know, at least they have that going for them. Now, during the season against Houston, Steph Curry averaged 26 points a game, 7 boards, and 8 assists. Okay. I'm interested to see who they're going to put on Curry. Okay, because to me, Trevor Ariza can guard everybody from Curry to Thompson to Draymond Green to Barnes. He's a very, very versatile defensive player. His offense has just been kicking in during the playoffs. He didn't have that good of a offensive season during the regular season, but we know his championship pedigree, of course, with the Lakers and you know, UCLA back in college. But I think Ariza can guard multiple players. You know, who do you think Houston's going to have on Curry, and just what do you think about that matchup?
I think Houston is going to have a matchup with Thompson. It's going to be a Klay Thompson versus one of those Rocket players.
Thompson again, but I mean, who is it going to be? Ariza can guard Thompson. James Harden can guard Thompson.
I think it's going to be Ariza and Thompson.
Ariza?
And Thompson, yeah.
Okay. And so then who are they going to have on Curry?
I think on Curry they have to have Corey Brewer.
Corey Brewer?
And Corey Brewer.
Okay. Well, that's going to be real interesting because Golden State, I mean, they have Curry, they have Draymond Green, they got Klay Thompson, Andrew Bogut, even David Lee. You know, he's a formidable guy underneath the basket.
Right.
You know, so some of these matchups are super interesting. Golden State, They are 8-2 in the postseason. Okay, 75-17 overall, and they're 43-3 at Oracle Arena at home. Now, I mean, how much of an advantage is that? They have home wrapped up all the way through, unless they end up playing Atlanta. No, they had more big, yeah, they had the best record in the NBA. So they have home wrapped up all the way through. 6 out of their 8 wins have been by double digits, and they're winning by an average of 12 points a game. Now, like I said, when Houston comes into town, they have momentum, but I mean, how are they going to match up with all that firepower that Golden State has?
I think it's just going to be too much for Houston.
But you still think it's going to go 7 games?
I believe it is going to go a 7 game, and I do believe that Golden State is going to win the series.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Golden State's going to smash them in 5.
Ooh.
I mean, if the strategic-wise, if they decide to foul Dwight Howard, like the Clippers and the Rockets were going back and forth, I don't know if that's going to hamper Golden State's, fluidity offensively, sort of like it did Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be interesting to see if Steve Kerr is going to go along with that philosophy. What do you think is going to happen with that?
Well, I think the whole hacker whoever is one of the big key things in the playoffs and also in regular seasons too. I think that's going to be one of the key factors to look at, especially with the way Dwight Howard is on the free throw line. And I think that's going to have something to do with the game. And I feel if they do the hacker Howard, basically I think it gives Golden State even a much bigger chance to win.
A much bigger chance to win. Okay. Howard's definitely key, but you have Andrew Bogut and David Lee to counteract that. If Howard doesn't dominate, we're talking like 26-15 or something, along that area for this series. I just don't see Houston competing. The Golden State's bench is just so deep that they can just keep going and going. I mean, even Sean Livingston, who is far down on their bench, he was starting for Sacramento just a couple years ago. I mean, he's a starter. Andre Iguodala's a starter. I just don't know how Houston's going to have enough firepower with Harden having to carry so much load. Also, I don't put him as much as carrying the load as much as LeBron, but he does a lot for Houston, right. and they're going to be coming up on 100 games pretty soon, right. Man. What do you think? Do you think Harden's going to be able to hold up? And what do you think about all the firepower that Golden State has?
I'll break it down for you in this perspective. The only way I see Houston winning this series is if James Harden can continue to play the way he's been playing throughout the season, getting players into foul trouble, making shots, getting assists, helping his players out to score points. And Dwight Howard has to be a key factor. If Dwight Howard is not a key factor, they're going to have to do what they did in Game 6. They're going to have to use Josh Smith. They're going to have to use Corey Brewer. They're going to have to use Trevor Ariza. And like you just said with Patrick Beverley, if Patrick Beverley comes back, that's even more big of a boost for the Rockets. So that's just what I feel if they're going to have a chance to win this series. But as Golden State having a lot of firepower, yeah, you're right about that, because Golden State just has too many good players who can do basically anything.
Okay.
They just have a complete team, and I think Golden State has the upper advantage.
All right. Well, here's a quick fact really fast. Golden State's defense was so good against Memphis the last 3 games that they held Gasol and Randolph, 2 all-stars, perennial all-stars, to 31, 31, and 36 points combined.
Wow.
Over the last 3 games. So if Howard isn't on his A game, I mean, Andrew Bogut's defense is completely underrated. And if Dwight Howard's not on his A game, I just see a very, very tough road for Houston coming up.
Same here.
Now, let's get into a couple of questions here. Now, Who do you feel is the X factor for each team and why? Atlanta, who's the X factor against Cleveland? Which player do you think, if Atlanta pulls it out, is going to be the difference in that series?
It has to be Horford, and it has to be Corver. Those are the two guys.
Okay, now
And Teague has to step up, but it has to be those two guys. It has to be Horford.
Right, and of course Corver is he's I mean, you know, we know the guy can shoot the lights out, but he just hasn't been getting off. And if he happens to heat up, you know, that's going to be huge for Atlanta. Now, I have my X factor as Jeff Teague also. Teague is you know, he's the one who's going to be matched up with Kyrie Irving. Now, if Irving isn't 100%, I think Teague will totally dominate that matchup. Okay. Now, Kyrie Irving's going to have to defend against Jeff Teague, and Jeff Teague, you know, he's an admirable defender. But if Irving's not 100%, that's I would definitely give that X factor matchup to Atlanta. Now, as far as Cleveland is concerned, I'm going to have to list all the role players as X factors, because we know LeBron's going to have the ball. We know he's going to facilitate. We don't know how healthy Kyrie Irving is. That's a big question. But if he's not as healthy as, if he's only as healthy as he was last series, that's going to be big, because it's going to be more of a load for LeBron to have to carry. So my X factor for Cleveland is all the role players. Dellavedova, Mozgov, all those guys are going to have to step up. What do you think about Cleveland's X factor?
Well, Cleveland's X factor has to be the combination of J.R. Smith, Dellavedova, and also Shumpert. Those are the three guys that are going to have to work together, and they're going to have to put their minds to place and realize, like, hey, we got to step up here, because if we don't step up here, we're going to end up losing this series. And I feel if they don't use those guys well in this series, and if LeBron has to carry the load, like he has been carrying the load throughout his career, I don't see Cleveland winning this series. But if Atlanta is able to use Horford and Corver and combine the other players like the Carrolls and the other players that Atlanta has,
and Millsap,
right, then Atlanta has a chance to win this series. So that's basically what I'm going to base it off of.
Okay. Now, let's go on to the other series.
Okay.
Who's your X factor for Golden State against Houston, and why?
My X factor against Golden State has to be. I'll basically look at it as Dwight Howard against Bogut. That's gonna be the two guys.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not worried about Steph. I'm not worried about Clay. I'm not worried about James Harden. They'll be fine. But when it comes to getting the ball in the basket and you're defending and you're blocking shots, those are gonna be the two key guys.
Absolutely.
And I feel that if Dwight Howard has a hard time making shots over Bogut or Lee, then I just feel like Golden State has an upper advantage.
Okay. And from Golden State, I have Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. If you looked at all the series, every time Draymond Green got off to a fast start and got involved early, Golden State usually played well.
Right.
So I'm looking for Draymond Green to get off to a fast start and to play well early. Klay Thompson, he's just sort of been lingering around. He hasn't really hit his stroke yet.
Right.
But he hasn't done anything to damage Golden State also.
Exactly.
He's just been playing steady. He can still kick it up a notch.
Exactly.
So, you know, those are my X factors for Golden State. For Houston, it's definitely Trevor Ariza, because just the multiple people that he could guard. I got Ariza versus Draymond Green. I got Ariza versus Klay Thompson. I got Ariza versus Steph Curry. At one point in time, he's going to be guarding those guys. Even if he's not guarding all three of those, he's going to guard them at one point during the game. And I think Trevor Ariza is the key, besides Dwight Howard, for Houston to have any kind of chance at all.
I can agree with you on that. I also feel like, how I mentioned about Golden State with Bogut and Dwight, I feel that for Houston to win, it's going to have to be Dwight Howard, the combination of Trevor Ariza and the combination of Josh Smith. Either those three players have to stick together and they have to work together and try to find ways to get through Golden State. But those are the three guys, and I feel if those guys can stick together with Dwight Howard playing well, they have a chance. But if Dwight Howard doesn't have a good game, doesn't play a good series, he has to use those players.
All right. Well, that's what we're sitting here discussing. It's getting down to the final four teams, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in the West and who comes out on top in the East. I'm your host, PJ, here with Justin Baptiz, breaking down the NBA playoffs once again. Much mahalo, Justin, for
Appreciate it.
joining us on the show here with all your expertise and knowledge on the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
We're going to cut out of here, and we're going to see you next week on Hawaii Sports Update. Hui ho.
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel of ThinkTech Hawaii. Won't you consider helping ThinkTech? We're a 501c3 Hawaii nonprofit corporation, now in our 15th year. Our model and very existence depends on ongoing contributions from our underwriters. We are very appreciative for their support. We're hoping you will consider becoming one of our ThinkTech underwriters. Unless our underwriters prefer to be anonymous, we publicize them on thinktechhawaii.com and on our daily email program, sent to some 7,500 subscribers, our live stream talk shows, and our OC16 productions. With help from our underwriters, we have developed a high-tech video studio in Pioneer Plaza, and we now live stream 25 talk shows per week, covering science, tech, energy diversification, community, sustainability, and globalism for Hawaii. And we stream our earlier shows all night long. Our live stream is on thinktechhawaii.com. Check it out. We also upload all our shows to youtube.com, where we get 18,000 views per month. And we broadcast 12 hours per week on Olelo 54 and 3.5 hours per week on OC16. We also do monthly luncheon panel programs at the Lania Kea, and we write a monthly column for the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. We're really active. Our plans this year include improving the coverage, content, and production values of all of our programs, and including more issues and guests relating to the neighbor islands, either by Skype or in person. If you agree with our mission, I hope you'll consider helping us. If you have any questions about any of our activities, or if you'd like to discuss our underwriter arrangements, please write to me at j@fidel.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for considering this suggestion, maybe even including you among our underwriters. Mahalo, I'm Jay Fidel of ThinkTech Hawaii, and I approve this message. If you approve of it also, please give us a call.